Hello and welcome to today's LOL Esports Round Up. We're going to touch up on some news over the last week. Some of this stuff's going to feel like old news. It was like, oh, really? I thought that happened a month ago. We knew some of this information, but it's becoming official now. Leaguepedia is finally updating it. Teams are now finally giving their releases to players that they've had in contract prison. So we will go through this. Immortals, they have filled out their roster with Tactical, so he joins Fleshy, Ablaze Olive, Kenvi, and Revenge. Tactical, 268, KDA, 9.3 CS per minute, 67.7 KP, 30.3 kill share, 25.2 gold share, 3 champions, and 8 games played in the LCS playoffs. Reason why I didn't find a level of play with 10 games was then we're getting into Academy, and if I have to choose between a smaller sample of the highest level of play within a region versus the second tier level of play outright regular season, I'm going to choose 9 games of playoffs. So Tactical took over for Instinct during the playoffs, had a little bit of a run there, mixed bag as is the case with Tactical, still only 22 years old. So if you missed my video yesterday when I talked about top laners, in general, I just feel like players kind of hit their hands prime, if you will, around 22, 23 years old, and they can carry that for a couple of years. And at that point, now they have to start figuring out, advantages within matchups, wave management, stuff like that. Like figure out ways outside of just hands diffing your opponent to improve your game. So Tactical kind of is what he is. I think he's got to, make better decisions, which goes to the experience part that I'm referencing. Not have Malphite moments on Tristana, things like that. So he's going to be on Immortals. Immortals not doing a tier list until all the teams are announced, but not good. Sandbox, so they have announced what their roster is going to be. Closer, is going to be in mid lane still. Cal at support. Envy is being recalled from their academy or challengers team or whatever. I have not put Envy on here because I don't go over re-signings. I know that they let him leave, but then re-signed him. So that was probably the intention all along. Well, they gave him a tryout and he won the tryout. I think he was against Bayao, player that now went back to Turkey. A couple others. Ice may have been one. Another Sandbox 80 carry from the last couple of years. So Envy is the 80 carry. So what does the top side of the Rift look like? Well, Dove is gone. Krakow is gone. Dove, I think, is unemployed right now, and Krakow is on DRX as we went over. So Birdall joins from Damwon Kia. 169 KDA, 787 CS per minute, 48 KP. 12.7 kill share, 21.2 gold share, 6 champions in 9 games in the LCK playoffs. Did play a game of regional play, but I'm not doing all the math to go from 9 games to 10 games. The point is, Birdall is still very young, only 18 years old, will be 19 at the end of this year. I was hard on him. I gave him a lot of crap in spring. Now learning more and more as the days go on about this game, and not only about this game, but how everything, the age groups of these players. He's a kid. At the time, thought he was I'd heard his name before, so I thought he wasn't a kid, but he is. So there is a lot of growth there still possibly there. There's a ton of potential. His Yone is very good. We joke that he is only a Yone player, but Danny had him playing over Nuguri on the Yone in the playoffs at the biggest moment after not playing at all during summer. There is potential there. I think it'd be disingenuous to say there isn't, but these stats are not great. Below 8 CS is not good. With a 48 KP, that means he's getting into less than half of the fights, and he isn't even getting to the threshold. So, is he LCK level? Maybe not. But he is still young, so there is room for potential. Another player with potential is Willer. So Willer had, these stats are from 2021 at Worlds with HLE. We have to keep in mind that at that time he was 18 years old. Yes, 18 years old at Worlds on an LCK team. You know, that's pretty young. It's a big moment for a kid, right? So the reason why I'm going with 2021 stats is because this past year he played 3 games in spring, 3 games in summer. As the sub for HLE, I do not agree with the way teams handle things with these substitutes. I think that if they have a substitute, it should be a player that's washed, that they're just paying to kind of stay warmed up in case they need them to play. When you have an 18-year-old or 19-year-old player, you should be getting them as many games as possible. So if that means you're playing them in challengers, you're playing them in challengers. I think it is absolutely just awful to the player to not play them. People can say they're scrimming or whatever, but then maybe that's why On Fleek sucked, because On Fleek is not scrimming. Willer is scrimming instead. It's like, come on, let's be real here. This kid needs some more time. 3.18 KDA, 517 CS per minute, 70.6 KP, 19A kill share, 18% gold share, 5 champions in 10 games. These were from play-ins. I did not include the main event stats because that's 6 games. I'd rather have 10 to reference. But still, a player that is now 19 years old, there is growth to be had there. These two players have potential. Do I think Sandbox took a step back? Yes, but not necessarily in top and jungle. I do not believe that Dove and Krakow offer much more than what Birdall and Willer do at this present time. If you hypothetically still had Prince in the bot lane instead of Envy, this team is probably still where we think it is, or it was at the end of summer, because the 2 weak links were top and jungle. So at worst, the team would have been a wash. But without Prince and with Envy, this team is no longer at that level. But I will, like I said, I'm not doing a tier list because Fred and Brian still hasn't announced their roster, so that would be disingenuous to them. Now, a couple notes of players that we knew were already on the outs, but it's becoming official. It's becoming official. Cowrie is out. Probably going to KC, Carmine Corp, as well as Takui with FlyQuest. Cowrie, 568 KDA, 987 CS per minute, 62.4 KP, 32.9 kill share, 25.2 gold share, 8 champions in 10 games at play-ins. Still only 21 years old, so young with potential. I think this is a contract prison situation where he kind of got screwed. I think Cowrie is plenty good enough to have been given an opportunity in the LCS. I find it very hard to believe that he would have decided to go to ERLs instead of playing in LCS. I really do. I mean, people can say Europe is more internationally competitive, but neither region is going anywhere. So it comes down to money and playing time. And frankly, look at Immortals. Immortals could have had Cowrie instead of Tactical, and I would have been fine with it because these numbers are good. These numbers are good. I don't care that people might say, oh, well, it was at play-ins. 3 of those games are against Mad Lions, a game against Fnatic. Like, half of his games, 40% of his games were against the LEC, still had good numbers to put up. A player that I would have liked to see a full split of, played decent in the LCS playoffs, especially given the fact that he was coming off the bench cold. If I recall correctly, he had actually traveled back home and they had to fly him back across the world. So, I mean, weird move. But then again, maybe he chose to leave. That's up to him. But like I said, it is a puzzling decision. And like I said, 21 years old. Takui is going to be with him in mid lane, if I recall correctly. I could be wrong. 295 KDA, 907 CS per minute, 68.1 KP, 26.4 kill share, which is very high for a mid laner. 23.2 gold share, 5 champions in 9 games, 21 years old as well in the LCS playoffs. Also a puzzling situation. I understand FlyQuest allowing Takui to leave because Vikla is very good. I think Vikla is just as good as Takui and that is honestly probably Vikla's floor. So that move makes sense. But Takui not being able to find a new home in the LCS, kind of puzzling. I think that he is LCS worthy. A 9 CS per minute is very good. He's getting ahead in his matchup. He's getting into more than 3 out of every 5 fights. You know, you give up a little bit of KP to get ahead in lane instead of roaming. He is farming. At least he's doing something. And Takui had moments throughout the split that he really took over. A young player that's very talented. It's too bad that he's going to be out. Really hope it's not a contract prison situation, but I really think with FlyQuest, they were going after Vikla. They're going after a Korean-speaking lineup pretty much without Spica. Maybe they're teaching Spica a crash course on Korean to pull it off. I don't know if Isla speaks Korean, so maybe they're both getting a crash course because you got Impact, Vikla, and Prince there. And Winsome at support also. So who knows? If Winsome pressures Isla, then all of a sudden they got 4 out of 5 Korean-speaking players. So yeah, Takui probably deserved the spot somewhere else. G2 Flacked is allowed to leave playing for Heretics Academy, so he's behind Jack Spectra. I think Flackett's getting the short end of the stick, similar to Unforgiven and Upset. It does make no sense to me. Sorry, why did I say it like that? It doesn't make any sense to me why Flackett doesn't have a job. As one of the people that was outspoken on my content that Flackett is not very good, I also have to acknowledge that he is 21 years old, that he was a rookie, that I understand G2 is on a timer with caps. They want to win now, so I understand going from Flackett to Hansama. I just think Flackett deserves a longer leash. I think he deserves a spot in the LECs better than Crowney. He's better than Jack Spectra. Neon never really impresses me all that much. I think he's just kind of in the middle. Nothing against Neon. Just like he's in the middle. So I don't think he's at a comp level or an upset level or even a Hansama level. But, Flackett probably deserves a spot over Karzi. It's just doesn't make sense. 544 KDA, 997 CS per minute, 75.4 KP, 26.2 kill share, 25 gold share, 7 champions in 10 games in the LEC playoffs. I didn't include Worlds because there's only 6 games. We did see Flackett Flackett was put on Seraphine duty a couple times with G2. He was put on Senna duty often. Yasuo, isn't really a duty. That's more, it was a Senna bot lane, Tarkamas on it. Nevertheless, he's put on weak side matchups, scaling matchups. It makes sense. Like I said, I really don't think Flackett he hasn't had a lot of carry moments. MSI did very well on the KSA, really surprised me, but didn't follow it up in summer. Maybe that was just his meta, but I think he deserves a longer leash. He deserves an opportunity in the LEC still, so for him to be on the sidelines is disappointing, along with Unforgiven, who people are saying 100 Thieves screwed him. The fact of the matter is Mad Lions cut him for Karzi, so before we even get into how 100 Thieves may have screwed Unforgiven, you should be focusing on Mad Lions and what the hell they're doing. So, yeah, a lot of weird stuff with the LEC and the AD carry position. So, thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube member, and thank you for watching.